All right. So last week, Scott and I went to the Buzz conference. Does anyone know what that is? Kind of, sort of. Okay. So the Buzz conference happens every year, and it's hosted by Virginia Munden and her daughter Isabella. A couple of the articles that you may have seen me in, we're all part of that magazine, if not the Realty Executives one. So Scott and I make an effort to go and really support them. And it's a great conference. This year, their keynote speaker was Mark Shapiro, who's the president and CEO of the Toronto Blue Jays. So that was really cool. And yeah, it was tons of speakers. It was doors open 7 a.m., doesn't end till 4 p.m., 2 days, full days. It was really, really good. But two of the speakers really focused on social media, really focused on AI. So we're going to talk, I'm going to show you their two presentations. So the first one is it's very interesting. It's from a gentleman named Raz. He owns a company called Mave AI. He was recently in the real estate magazine, the REM articles, because his company just had a very significant investment. So he's doing really well. But what was so funny was his kind of address to everyone is that everyone's kind of in an AI fatigue. Everyone's kind of kind of over it. Everything we're seeing on, I know Nancy's nodding along. She said this like a year ago, but we've hit that point. And it's everyone I'm talking to. Doesn't matter how old you are. I'm 26. I would like to put it to rest. I'm kind of done with it. So, but part of his thing was use it as a teammate, not, as not so much as a tool, but as something that has to take over your business. It can really take a lot of time to learn something. And what AI is supposed to be is it's supposed to be a addition to your team. It's supposed to be a teammate. It's supposed to save you time. If you're spending 5 hours a day trying to learn a system you don't even want to know, don't use it. It's not going to take over your business. It's not going to be the end of the world if you don't know it. But there are ways to integrate it, because what we are hearing is the agents that are pushing it all aside, they're losing time that other agents are utilizing through AI. So these agents that are using AI to do just the back end stuff, not the front facing content creation, all these big videos, just the people that are using it every once in a while, going in, getting their, thoughts into here and really making a blueprint. Those are the agents that are utilizing it well and getting those leads from it. So we're going to talk about that today, kind of the blueprint of how you should be using it from these two companies. And then I did take some personal notes just on, there was a panel of, I was a little bit surprised because it was a panel of like team leaders, but they all talked about content creation. So we're going to talk about those two. And I'm just going to give you the little kind of golden nuggets they shared about their day-to-day, kind of when they film content, how much are they posting, what are they posting, stuff like that. But first, we're kind of just going to talk about general idea of what everyone was talking about, and then move into like the little golden nuggets. Okay. Go ahead, share my screen here. If I could find it. Oh, that one's second. Here we go. Okay. You guys see that? Perfect. Okay. So integrating AI into real estate. So these are, again, notes from Mave.ai, the creator Raz. These are his kind of key notes. Trust and expertise in real estate. So obviously 91% of homes are sold by licensed agents. 0% of homes were sold by AI. So anyone that is getting all this content on their feed about agents are, going to lose business to AI, that has never happened. So please, if you are getting that content, just dismiss it, stop following that content. It is really on, as you know, I started laughing in the conference because so many people were talking about all these things and all this negativity that they're seeing. And you remember those like 2 or 3 weeks where the only thing Scott was talking about was the stinking thinking? Yes. That's all I kept thinking. I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what he was talking about. So that was just a really hilarious stat to me that someone that is creating an AI tool needed to share that and show that to you because there's so much negativity around AI taking over your job. It's never going to take over your job. So what we want it to do is really ease those burdens of all that back end stuff, all those times, agents have said to us, I have this idea, but I don't know how to execute it, anything like that. That's what we're looking for. And I really liked this idea. And I said this in the beginning. Raz used the word teammate, collaboration. So you're using AI as part of your team, but not as like the forward facing. You are the forward facing person. So here's the blueprint that he described. First, identify a problem statement. So what is a problem that you are facing? What is taking up the majority of your time that you should be spent prospecting? You should be spent talking to clients. You should be spent talking to leads or networking, really making those human connections. Is it content creation? Is it blog posting? Is it creating automation in your CRM, sending out those smart plans if you use Lofty or campaigns if you use Prime Agent? Does anyone want to share? I know mine, but does anyone want to share one that they've kind of been struggling with? Yeah, Nancy.
I just feel like human connection is really good.
Yeah, definitely. So you want to be spending more time really connecting with those people. And one thing that I think is for me, and I will share with you that I totally forgot this was happening until last night. So these these slides, 100% AI based. They're my notes, but these are all I put into Canva Pro, into Canva AI, put make a presentation based on these notes. Boom. So now I went in and I edited, made sure it all made sense. But one of the problems I face is definitely time management. I find like so many things are important that I forget about all the other things. So integrating things, using AI, using those things in your CRM, using AI to catch up on work. And, it can be helpful. But what was interesting was Raz said, you have to write it down. Don't just kind of throw it in and ask ChatGPT, oh, I'm a realtor. What's like the number one thing I should be doing? Make it yourself. What are you specifically struggling with? Because everyone's going to be different. So, what is the exact solution? This was an interesting one to me. So, once you identify your problem, what is the exact solution? So, how is your business going to change? How is the next steps going to integrate into your business to save you time? First, you want to find the person that is an expert in this field. So, is it door knocking? Is it lead follow up? Is it content creation? Speak to them and take your own notes. There were so many people in this room at Buzz Conference. Everyone we talked to just wants to share. They just want everyone in the industry to be better, to keep keep going and keep learning new things. And it didn't matter if you were a new agent or a broker that had been in the business for a long time, everyone was willing to share. So if you find someone either with our company, outside our company, someone you follow online, and you see something that they are doing well, ask them about it. Ask if you can go for coffee. Ask if you can hop on a Zoom call and see if you can get a handle on how they're doing it and why. So make sure you are taking notes in that. You're then going to take those notes and you're going to put them into ChatGPT or Gemini. You're going to ask that system, that AI system, to make a blueprint for you based on this solution to this problem. So that's kind of step one. That's the first part of it. So then you want to be proactive with your clients. So you can anticipate your client needs. You can anticipate the market shifts. So let AI help you be prepared. Add objections or concerns that clients usually bring up with you, add them into ChatGPT or Gemini, print out the answers, and have them ready to show when clients ask. A couple of years ago, I think it was a couple of years ago, James Kavanaugh did a listing presentation with our company. And for anyone that's watched it back or remembers that day, you'll remember that he said when he's on a listing presentation, he has all his objections printed out. You know, it's always about price, it's always about can you go lower on commission, all these things, right? So he has those objections printed out with his answers. He just points to them and says, oh, this objection, here you go, and just goes through the list. It A breaks that barrier of like very stressed out about, getting that objection, but you can anticipate what they're going to say. And if you can't find someone that knows, a team leader, a broker owner, someone that's been in the business and knows what's going to come next. And again, I've said this before, you want to collaborate effectively. You always want to double check your work. You always want to fact check anything that you use that comes out of AI. There was a really interesting stat someone said at the conference. So they went into ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever, and they asked it about market stats in a specific area. And it gave it to them and then said, okay, tell me where you got these facts from and how accurate they are. And the system came back and said market stats can only be 0 to 20% accurate all of the time. So you have to look at that information. There's probably part of it that's true, but those exact numbers, that's where you come in. That's where your understanding, your analysis comes in. So understand that AI is a great starting tool and a great way to help you, but it's teamwork. It's a teammate. You both have to act with it. And yeah, and he says, amplify, don't replace. It enhances you. It's not here to replace you. So that was Raz's presentation, which I thought was really good. Anyone have any comments about that? Yeah, Julia.
I did exactly this yesterday with, I had to respond to a client about a listing I have that's, I reached out to you at Michelle for some data actually, and I just found it myself. So
Oh, good.
I used a bunch of data and I had them put it together into a presentation and sent it. And this morning, it's funny because he texted me something, and then I said, "Oh, I sent you an email yesterday," and he came back just now. I was reading it. He said, "Oh, perfect scenario, great data. I think we're in good shape." So, like sometimes you just have to organize your thoughts in a way that you know it's going to land. And again, it's anticipating the questions, and I put all of the what ifs and solutions in. And that didn't take me very long because I had an assistant writing for me. Sometimes just getting started is your worst enemy. So it's interesting that you just brought this up because I'm like, I just did that.
That's perfect. And
Perfect
like,
fit.
what a great way to say it, right? Like, it's, you're right. Sometimes starting is just kind of the hardest thing. And
Mhm.
once you get those thoughts in there, once you kind of organize that data and put it in, it can be a huge help. And it should be. So the next thing we're going to talk about is visual content and AI. again, this conference was super interesting to me. So very excited they brought this up. And Nancy, you're already laughing and shaking your head. You knew this was coming. Okay. So how many people have been duped by AI content recently? I have. Anyone see those pictures of snow in Russia and think, oh my God, that's a lot of snow, and then realize it was fake? Yeah. So my cousin's group chat, we are under 40 years old. There's 5 of us in there. We were like, is this real? Like no one knows. So we are at a place now where we've kind of gone from the sublime to the ridiculous. And we're at a place where people are really not trusting content anymore. And it's getting harder to determine what's true, what's not true. So can anyone predict what I am about to say about creating content?
Can't predict what you're gonna say, but I know where you're going with this because like all the stuff that's going on in the US and like everything, it is hard to decipher what is AI and what is not.
Yes. So authenticity and trust. That
Exactly.
is what people are looking for in content.
Yeah.
Automation can definitely undermine that. AI can undermine that. So this is from a photography and videography company that uses every tool they possibly can to create great content. And they are saying, do not automate your content. Do not post and create all this AI built content because you will lose that authenticity and trust of your business. It's going to be a lot harder for people to see that content, especially if that's their first impression of you. A lot of people either, will see your signs or see you out in the community and maybe they don't know you yet and they Google you. And the first thing to come up is your Instagram or Facebook, whatever it is. And if all that content is AI generated and animated and all this stuff, and they can't see you, they can't hear your voice, they will not build that trust. They will not believe that you will help them. They will believe that they will be helped by a system. I also found it super interesting. One of the predictions that this company had was that there will be an AI off button on social media. And Julia, I agree. Thank God. Like, I am kind of ready for that. So let's pretend there already is. Use the AI, use ChatGPT, Gemini to create the ideas, create the structure of your content. If you're struggling with a caption, anything like that, do it that way, but make the content that people see authentic. So Gemini video analysis, and maybe Herb, you can speak to this a little bit. I know that you've kind of used this to analyze videos and stuff. But Gemini, which is the Google AI, can really provide deep insights and analysis into videos just using the URL of the video. So, for example, if you know someone that does really great videos on YouTube. So, for example, Alroy's on here. So I'll use Alroy. So Alroy has started doing these great YouTube videos about his communities and what's going on in the community. So if you really, really want to dive deep into why a certain video does well on YouTube or Instagram, whatever, take that URL, put it into Gemini, and say, okay, analyze this video and explain to me why it does well on social media. Why is it resonating with people? And then it will tell you the exact points of the video that are done very well. And what you're going to do is you're going to copy those into your content. Herb, do you want to talk a little bit about using this feature and kind of how it analyzes the video and what it spits back out?
Yes, I use it often, especially with YouTube videos that are very lengthy, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. A lot of times when I'm sending out these emails to my database, I need a hook. I need something that they will quickly read and then click on the video to watch the video. But I need something to explain it. And this is where Gemini and AI really shines because just like what Michelle was saying, you copy and paste the URL, say, give me a summary, highlight the most important parts of this video. The system will spit it out, copy and paste that into your email, make it nicer. And now what you have is a summary that somebody can quickly read, maybe on their phone, and say, okay, what's this video about? Oh, I see. These are important facts. I'll watch this video when I get the chance. And you'll see your engagement and reach so much better because now it's more inviting that people know exactly what they're going to be getting in that video. They'll click on it and watch.
Yeah, Nancy.
I think my question here is the platform because I'm not a tech savvy person, but there's Chat GPT, there's Grok,
Mhm.
there's all these different things. What would you guys recommend as being the best platform for that?
So, um, I have my own personal opinions about different AI systems. I personally will not use Grok. That is an Elon Musk run site. Um, it's not for me. Gemini I use because I share a Google business account with Scott. So we have a ton of that integration. But ChatGPT, and there's other ones as well, ChatGPT is free version. All you do is log in with your email just to save your content, and you can do all the same stuff.
There's a website I use too to do the summary of the YouTube, and I'll post it in the chat here so you can see it. It's a great tool because all you do is just put the link in, tell the AI exactly what you want from it. Give me 3 bullet points that I can email my clients about this video, and AI will create that and do the work for you. So that way, at least you can concentrate more on creating that email and then pushing that out.
Yeah,
This is
perfect. Thank
this
you.
is this is a conversation that could go on for hours with me, because I'm very opinionated with AI. When it comes to AI, this could go on forever.
I
But
know.
you can use the way I look at AI, or at least the tools that I'm using, it's just a tool. It's just something simple that I can quickly use to, reduce the amount of time I need to come up with this information. So before a lot of the midweek mastery YouTube videos, I would write down as it was happening. I would make the bullet points that I wanted to write, create the email, and then send it out. But then once I found this particular website that does it for me, it now saves me time. Now instead of spending half an hour to create the email, write the bullet points, I'll just put it into that system. It spits it out. I create the email, and it's much quicker, freeing up the time. The last thing you want, and I was telling James um, Lambert this, that, don't get stuck in your head. I think a lot of us in the beginning get stuck in our head about like, how am I going to create this? Who's going to open it? Why am I, you create all of these stop gaps, but instead of focusing on how to start, allow AI to be that tool that allows you to do it. That way you can focus more on the whole, you know, making of that email and then pushing it.
Okay, I agree with half of that.
And that's a good point, right? Like not everyone's going to use it the same, not everyone's going to want to use it the same.
That's
But again, it's a tool, it's a teammate. You're using it as an addition, not as a hindrance. Um, does that answer kind of your question, Nancy?
I don't mean to be, I wasn't meaning to be difficult. I was just trying to contribute to the conversation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, it was good.
Um, yeah, it does answer my question. I mean, I'm still kind of like on the fence, but
That's fair.
you know, it's who I am.
Okay, so back into this. So yes, the video analysis I think is great. Um, one of the questions, and Dawn, you're gonna get this question when you and I chat, is when I'm starting to work with agents and do their social media, a lot of the time they want to do social media because they see someone else doing something that they think looks good. So, one of the things that I suggest is if you see someone online, you see another realtor, you see another business, you think that they're doing great content, take, again, take the URL of a certain video or of their profile, throw it into ChatGPT, Gemini, and say, I'm a realtor. I want to do content creation. I like the content on this profile. How do I recreate it? That at least gives you a starting gate and you can go from there. Yeah, Julia.
Um, I was doing kind of a little social media course online, and it talked about how to use AI for real estate. Anyway, one of the things that they suggested was to put together your own personal profile, what you look like. So all the stuff that you would have in your website or whatever, and ask it to create kind of a profile of yourself that's based on your input. And then every time you ask it a question to build something around your business, put that in first, and then using my profile, and then it always goes back to that. It doesn't always remember it unless you have a paid subscription, but and you can pin it in whatever format you use. Anyway, I started doing that and trying to do it with and without, and it does actually work a little bit better.
Yeah,
It makes it
really
a
nice.
little more you. So
Yes.
if you're looking for authenticity, that might be your key to getting over um, having somebody having it create something that you're not, because I think that's probably a worry for a lot of people that are afraid of it. So
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely. And I think um like to Julia's point, and I saw Nancy nodding along, you do want to make it you want to make it sound like you, feel like you,
Mhm.
and again, it's a starting gate, but you want to start out that gate on the right foot.
And I
So,
used AI to actually write that piece. So
yeah.
I put all my details in. This is who I am, what I want to look like. Then every time, then I copy it and put it in, and then ask it the question based on my input. And it'll be helpful because it'll be less editing, really.
Yeah, definitely. Really, really good point. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
And that, comes up with the heart, trust, connection, really fostering that emotional connection is being yourself. People want to connect with other people. I've heard so many times recently, it just feels good to connect with people, whether it's on Zoom, in person, at the office, over coffee, whatever it is. It feels nice to connect with people. They showed a video at the conference when they were talking about kind of, heart, trust, connection. And it was a video of a broker owner, just it was a, recruiting video showing off the brokerage, stuff like that. And they kept in a clip of in the video, and she was getting rather emotional talking about how she got kind of into the leadership role and why it's important to her to be a leader. And it's like the audio is not great, the camera's moving a lot, but it's real, authentic content about how much she loves her job. So those are the moments that have lasting impact when you can look someone in the eye, whether it's in person or like on camera, and say, you know what, I really want to share this with you, but because I think it's going to help you. People will listen to that 100 times more than they'll listen to some AI sound effect. Investing in video. We've talked about this and it was just reiterated at the conference. Video builds trust, builds emotional bond. It's much easier for people to resonate with storytelling pieces through video, and it outperforms every other type of content on every platform. 90% of agents are not creating video content. And I know it feels like they all are. They are not. 90% of agents are not leveraging this video content and presenting these unique opportunities for consumers to connect with them, to really build that trust. Scrolling versus researching. For those of us that participated a couple of years ago in the David Greenspan Mindshare seminars, one of the things he talked about was scrolling and really waking up every day and just, going on the phone, seeing what's new, what's up. And it was definitely a theme at the conference this year, just mindlessly scrolling, and the phone itself just taking over so much time when it shouldn't be. And I think I liked this analogy of scrolling versus researching. Taking the time to, yes, go on social media and scroll, but do it with intention. Be on social media and, set a timer, set, 10 to 15 minutes aside and figure out, okay, these are the people in my area. This is what they're doing. These are the people in my area. This is what they're not doing. Are they creating content about those community events? Are they creating content about those niche markets? If they're not, that is an opportunity. I also just saw in the chat about Julia talking about Notebook LM. Yes, this is one that we have covered, and thanks to Julia, we covered it. This is a really good one. Just analyzing the data that you link or insert, definitely. You don't need to be an influencer. Another big theme, and it was so funny this year, they really made a point at the conference to share the fact that I think one of the lines was, you don't see any Instagram influencers here trying to be realtors. I thought that was a super poignant sentence, because we're there to build up professionalism, to build up the industry, to really share our values and motivations for being in real estate. And that's just helping people. So some things to, kind of get you away from the mindset of, Michelle's asking me to be an influencer. I would never do that. Consistency, staying top of mind, trust. Those are all the themes that we're looking for. We are not looking for hundreds of thousands of followers. We are not looking for, millions of likes or to go viral. We're looking for you to connect with the people that you already know that you want to do more business with, and the people that you don't know yet that will find you because they're looking for the content that you are going to create. Content is everywhere. Again, something that I've said, and they just reiterated at this conference, repurpose, create creatively. So content that we already have, I know Elizabeth, something that her and I talked about was, she creates these videos for YouTube, but where's that content on her Instagram, on her Facebook, on her LinkedIn? She already did all this research for that video. How is she going to repurpose it? Is it just a few sentences on LinkedIn, short clip video on Instagram? You already made that content. People want to see it everywhere. But also be authentic, capturing those, genuine experiences. Is it a really cool feature at a house? Is it a really long day of showings, but you're working with a family that is, expecting a child and you really want to get them into a house soon? Like, those things are part of you and your genuine want to help people. And that's what people want to hear. And just optimizing strategy, making use of those AI tools to get your thoughts collected. So content audit, they talked about that. That's what I do. Um, if you want to kind of review your content, what's going on, what's happening, um, let me know. I'll go in as a consumer. I'll look at all your content, say, okay, this is working, this is definitely not working, and this is how you can do it better. Simple shoots, so planning and filming genuine content. One of the things that I don't know if any, for the life of me, I can't remember his last name, but there's a realtor. His first name's Faisal, and he does content very, very well on Instagram and Facebook. And what he does is he books one full day. One full day. Now he does have other people that help him with content. But he has one full day where he sets up his camera, he has his list of topics, and brings a couple changes of clothes, couple different shirts, blazer, and he batch films his content. So whatever you're doing, so if you're talking about, let's say, like the top 3 things that buyers need to do, then that can be 3 separate videos. So when you're thinking about batch content, really think about that. And as he's doing these batch videos, he's also scheduling his content to go out every other day. So he's not doing it every day. He's doing that mass filming of content. He does have people that kind of help him with editing, but you can just film a video and cut it and you're all good. And then he's just, putting it onto Instagram and Facebook using either Meta Business Suite or just right in the app and scheduling those videos to go out every other day. Nancy, I saw that you said Alroy can comment on that. Alroy, do you want to share how your content creation and green room is all going?
I can do that a little bit. I cheat. I do have a service that does it for me. Um, it's actually really simple. All my content is a 10 or 12-minute video that's later chopped up into pieces. And what they do is they have a script writer who uses some AI to give topics. I give them pointers, 3 or 4 or 5 hot topics around the area. The script writer makes the script and it all comes in chunks. And I just video record it and hesitate a little bit between the points so there's a natural gap. And then they clip it and put it all together. And then they use a Go High Level program to schedule it across all the social media. So you don't have to go to Facebook and LinkedIn and Instagram and YouTube to do them all. They use Go High Level, and that program will tell you if Instagram isn't friendly to video. They don't like it, so you got to change the picture there so they can tweak it there a little bit. And it's all scheduled out. I can look at the content calendar and know exactly what's coming out each day. And if I see a blank day that I don't like, I make something up and I throw it in there, like my little water tap tip.
I have a question for Alroy.
Yeah.
So can you estimate how long it takes you to do that content and have this company produce more content? And then how much you think it saves you in time to do it this way? I don't need a spreadsheet, just an estimate.
Well, the video literally takes me 20 minutes, 25 minutes to shoot it. I usually get it first shot. Sometimes I don't like it and I got to do a second shot. And then it's done. And then I just load it up into their platform, gone, and I'm done with it. And then I just watch the content calendar. It's pretty simple. If I had to do it by myself, oh man, then it's bad. Then it's a couple of days. Because I'm not a video editor. I can't clip and put it all together. I've tried a little bit, but it doesn't turn out looking the same. It just, and I'm a firm believer. I'm a sales guy. I want to get out in front of people. I am not a video editor, script writer, any of that crap. Like not even a bookkeeper. I have an accountant for that, and a photographer. That's not me.
You just named all of my jobs.
Pardon?
You just named all of my jobs.
I know, I know. I'm I know how to do a lot of it, but like I tell a lot of people, I'm the most dangerous guy around there. I could really mess things up. I know enough to mess it up.
Thank you for sharing, Alroy. I really appreciate that. Yeah, and everyone's got to find what works for them, right? I was doing a social media audit with Kathy and Caitlin out in Realty Executives Real Estate Brokerage. And what was so funny to me and to Kathy was that when you Google her name, one of the first things to come up on that Google page is a video from Facebook. It's a great authentic video. She's just shooting behind her. It's great scenery and just saying, hey, I'm at this listing. Just it's a beautiful day. So I thought I'd show you. That video is from 5 years ago. That's how much the algorithms, the internet, that's how much they love that authentic content. That video is 5 years old.
And I just jump in here. I'll give you one point. When you're
Yes.
shooting a video, try not to refer to dates and times so that you can use it over and over and over again. That's the one thing I learned from these YouTube guys. Like, don't refer to dates and times so it can just get recycled and nobody will know it. Like you just said, you thought it was yesterday and it's 5 years old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so yeah, Nancy. Oh, you're on mute. Nope.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I was just wondering if you wanted to share the ad that we did. It's only a draft.
The ad's not ready yet, Nancy. I was just looking at another draft of it.
Well, yeah, but it wouldn't hurt for her to share. Like,
No, not yet.
we're
Not
all
yet.
friends here.
Not yet. It's coming. It's getting close.
Alroy the perfectionist. But yes, the one of the things and something that Nancy is referring to is that her and Alroy are working on this ad. And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the back page of a magazine.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And that's something that has been shared with me. I've given my 2 cents. My 2 cents is free. It's literally my job. So please utilize my services. Social media, print marketing. Nancy, when she did her radio ad, she sent that to me as well. So really when it comes to marketing, please reach out at any time. I did, like I said, I have some kind of just quick jot notes from the content creation panel. Um, Highly recommend to anyone who is trying to move forward from pen and paper into the digital age that we are in. I got an iPad with a pen. I think I'm probably going to wear that pen out. I've used it so much. But it was great because now it's on all of my devices, and these are all of my notes from 2 days. So it's been really good. Okay, so content creation panel. These are like quick jot notes. This is being recorded, so you can come back to it. But okay, so first thing they talked about, what does well? Property videos, lifestyle videos, forward-facing content. So again, that's you being in the content. We want to see your face. The power of storytelling. Tell a story that reflects your voice, but is related to the consumer. So I had asked Scott the other day, this thing didn't particularly happen to me, but I think it's happening to a lot of the first-time home buyers. So do I talk about my own experience or do I talk about like that topic that they are interested in? And he's like, you got to talk about the topic they are interested in. Yeah. So another thing was education before promotion. Again, something we talk about, those value added points, whether it's a value added email, video, post, whatever it is, are you providing value before they come to you asking for services? before someone calls me, they already know what I'm about. So if someone goes to your page, like I said in the beginning, can they already get a clear understanding of where you work, who you work for, if you work with a specific niche market, and how are you going to benefit them in their home search or home sale? Herb brought this next part up, 3 to 5 second hooks. We live in attention economy. People hate paying attention. They have very short attention spans. So those hooks, those call outs to this video is for XYZ. If you are XYZ, this is for you. Top 3 tips for whoever. Be very clear about what your post is about, your video's about, your email, whatever it is.
Just to add a note to that, I watched the podcast with um, what was that movie I told you about, Michelle? The Kip, what's it called again?
The rip?
The Rip. Yeah. So with those two artists, right, the movie stars, they were talking about how Netflix was telling them, hey, when you're making this movie, what we need is you need to say multiple times throughout the movie what this movie is about. And for them, they were like, what are you talking about? That's so weird. No, it makes sense because Netflix knows our attention span is not there. We're going to be on our phones or we're going to be watching the movie on our phone. So what they did was, and you'll notice this in the movie if you watched it, or yeah, that movie, is you'll see multiple times what they're doing there, what's happening. Like they'll keep on repeating the whole thing. And it's like, what, you realize it now looking back, you're like, holy smokes, they kept on doing that.
Yeah, true fact. They do that now.
Yeah, it's true. Statistically, if you're going to do print advertisement, and I have a lot of experience in this, not through myself, but my sister sold advertisement, my sister-in-law sold advertisement. Statistically, people have to see you 7 times to remember your name. That's the magic number. They need to see you 7 times to remember.
Yes, very good point. And I think one thing that made me laugh as well is everyone is like, oh, I gotta make new content, I gotta make new content. And it kind of goes off Alroy's point of like, don't get too specific with dates and times because you want to repurpose content. How many times do you guys see the same commercial over and over and over and over again? Those companies don't care how often that commercial is played. They want it played more. So your content, you should be repurposing it. You should be reusing it. You're going to start seeing probably some content on my page that you've seen in the past. And maybe you haven't seen it in a year or so, but it's just repurposing it. It takes a lot less time because, that video did well. I want to reuse it. Okay, so back to the notes here. Become niche and find them where they are. So for Julia, for example, if you are specifically working with, condo buyers and sellers, where are they? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Instagram? Are they on rental sites? You got to find them where they are. Alroy, Nancy, for that cottage country, where are they? And I think you guys are doing a really good job, especially the print marketing aspect of it, finding them where they are. Highlighting the different niches on the team. So understand that Scott and I are part of everyone's team. And I know that Kelly Blair does this as well, Dawn. Kelly actually only has one website, and it's the brokerage site as a team site. And she does that purposefully because as broker owners, we want you guys to use us. Anita and Jason did it when they did those city listings in Niagara. They brought me on as their team as, marketing social media. They brought Scott on with years of experience in commercial real estate. And while everything obviously was done and it's their transaction, at least the marketing aspect shows this is my team. This is the knowledge we have. have to be value added. We talked about that. Will connect with the right people through authenticity. And that's something, like I said before, we're not concerned about thousands of followers or millions of likes. We're concerned about finding the right people to match with you and your content that are going to get you business. Speed to lead in the DMs. This is something that a couple of the team leaders and broker owners said about any type of either advertising or organic content that they were using to lead generate. Speed to lead in the DMs, whether it's actually through a form or just a direct message through someone, laughing at your content or liking your content. Use that as a way to connect with them. I also thought it was really interesting. Someone said, you want to generate that conversation. So just ask, hey, are you here for like really specific real estate stuff, or do you just want to connect like online? Like, what is the purpose of connecting? Are you actually interested in the real estate stuff? Is there something that I can explain further? Like creating that conversation, and if they followed you, start that conversation right away. Most of the teams and leaders are using Instagram. They are making themselves available on every platform, but Instagram is the key platform. Something that I'm actually going to do some more research on is Reddit. So I know Reddit, but a lot of people there are starting to do their advertising on Reddit, which I think is really interesting. LinkedIn is really used for market updates, industry advice, that kind of stuff. Where the content is going is where it's got to be most appreciated. So again, a good example of that is LinkedIn. That's your kind of business content, your stats, everything like that, connecting with other professionals. Instagram, Facebook, if you have a lot of past clients there, they want to show you love. They want to see you doing well. They or just see you doing anything. They just want to connect with you. Oh my God, I posted a photo. Guys, I found my first gray hair. That the post, so I post that on my story. I got 12 DMs. I talked to someone that I haven't talked to in almost 10 years. This is someone I graduated high school with. And they reached out because they are also getting gray hair now. And it was just a conversation, right? And I found out that where they're working, that they're commuting, that they really like living in Mississauga. They don't care to live out where their job is. But it's just starting that conversation. And but yeah, that is because that platform, Instagram, is where I have the most people that I already know. So I want to post funny stuff. I want them to want to connect with me because of that. I would never post that on LinkedIn. Yes, Nancy.
And I think the important thing too is, and I've run into this in my past as well, that people forget you're in real estate. So you need to like remind them. I've
Yes.
lost deals. I'm not gonna lie, I've lost deals in the past with friends that I've known for 30 years, sold their house. I'm like, oh, we forgot you were in real estate. I'm like,
Yes.
so
And
you need to remind, even if they're close friends and you think you're never going to go anywhere else, and they might.
yeah. No, 100%. Scott's talked about that definitely. I know that was one of the reasons when I first came on board with Realty Executives, Carol came to me and said, I think I need to start this social media thing because I have friends and family coming up to me saying, "Oh, I thought you retired." So you really need to like keep top of mind. My handle on all of my socials is Michelle Gilmore Real Estate. There is no question. You see my name, real estate's right beside it. Um, for Dawn and I know Caitlin as well. Newer to real estate, maybe you were in an industry prior. You want to show that change. You want to show that you're working now in this industry. So it's even just as important to do it now. And yeah, those were all my notes from the content creation panel. as we are wrapping up our monthly social media power hour, I do hope that you guys could take some information from those notes, some kind of next steps, some blueprints. I know it was really helpful for me just to hear other people in the industry that are doing well and they're not doing anything different than what we've talked about. So I think that was really helpful for me. Anyone want to share any last thoughts?
I don't know. I think all of this is just about persistence, like just like keeping going, not giving up,
Yep.
you know,
I
because it's
find
easy to give
too,
up.
um, reaching out to Michelle, I still reach out to Michelle. I still sit in her office and like, hey, I have an idea. This is where I want to do this. And it's a great way to bounce that off of her because she'll be like, oh, okay, well, do this or add this to, and you're like, oh, I didn't even realize that. So, instead of sitting there in your own head trying to figure out how do I start, how do I do this, what's the speech? Talk to her, and say, hey, I have this idea. What do you think? And I'm telling you, it really reduces the amount of time you spend on that.
Well, that's true. And Michelle is a great tool, and I forgive me for calling you a tool. But, but there's many more people in this forum, in this office, that can provide different information to you as well and different experiences.
Yeah, guys, don't sleep on Scott. He will tell you some great insights. There are some things that I've created where he's like, "Well, why didn't you do this?" I'm like, "Oh my God, I didn't even think about that." So there it's ideas are everywhere. Everyone has their own creative way of thinking. And we're a very collaborative company. So like I said, please reach out to me. If I can't specifically help you or I think someone else would be able to help you, I will reach out to them and connect you guys. So yeah, thank you guys for sharing. I really appreciate it. I won't take up any more of your time. That was our hour. Um, but yeah, for tomorrow we do have our midweek mastery at 10 a.m. So that email will be coming out later today, along with this recording. Um, and yes, I'm sure Scott will also talk about the conference. But yeah,
This was great. Thanks so much, Michelle. I'll be in touch.
good,
We've got a lot of things to talk about. So
good,
appreciate this
good.
stuff.
Yes, you should have my email address from the email that was
I
sent
do.
out this morning. Yeah, definitely just reach out to that. And we'll connect. We'll do one-on-one. Thank you for joining us. It was great to meet you, Dawn, and welcome to Realty Executives.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody.
Okay, take care, everybody.
Take
Bye,
care.
guys.
Bye
Bye.
bye.